Desktop audio up.
Should I just pull up the YouTube on my phone to see like the chat and stuff?
Yeah,
Is that the
yeah,
best
yeah.
best
Yeah,
way
you
to do
can.
that?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with episode 48 of Zed Daily. Today I have an OG of Zed Run with us, Chateau from Zed Chateau. How you doing, my friend?
Oh man, I'm doing so good. Did you say episode 48?
Yeah, we're flying, man.
Dude, congratulations. That's amazing. What a run.
I appreciate that. It's just every day,
Yeah,
man. So they just go by quick.
that's amazing. Yeah, dude, I know firsthand how hard it is to stay consistent with this shit. So well done.
100. Well, let's get into it. So actually, before we get into Zed Run, let's just get into when you started buying crypto. What is your story and your journey into crypto like?
It's pretty recent. So it was like basically January last year, which I had held off. Like my uncle showed me Bitcoin like 10 years ago or whatever. He's a huge nerd, bless his heart. But I never really like got into it or paid much attention to, I don't know, never really thought about it pretty deep. And the January last year, like I'm a big fan of like Gary Vee and Kevin Rose and some of those like tech guys. So just started paying attention and like setting up like the dollar cost average or whatever, buying $10, $15 here and there. So yeah, pretty recently, like I don't have this big Ethereum war chest like some of these people do. So yeah, it's pretty new on this game.
Was there like any like significant points that like made you make your move? Like for me, it was Tesla buying Bitcoin to where I was like, I'm gonna make my move. Like, did you have any like big events that kind of gave you the faith to take the leap and finally like jump into the crypto market?
Yeah, I mean, it was honestly, it was probably like that GameStop stuff that was going on. Like I never bought any GameStop stock or anything like that, but just like seeing that happen and like how like a subreddit could make moves like that, like that kind of opened my mind to like, oh, some shit's going on here on the internet. Like I need to I need to pay closer attention.
Okay. So when did like at what price did you start investing into Ethereum?
It was like 1300, 1400, something like that last beginning of last year. So it's like doubled from where I started buying in, but I was also buying at the top too. So,
Mm.
it's not, I'm a terrible investor.
Did you ever plan to spend your Ethereum or just hold on to it? Like did you see this NFT craze coming and like look at it as a currency of the metaverse to where you could spend it, or did you just think I'm going to hold on to this and wait for the USD value to go up?
I was kind of buying Ethereum and Bitcoin simultaneously with the thought that like Bitcoin was to hold, and then the Ethereum, like because I saw some NFTs like Top Shot. Now you pay with cash or whatever in Top Shot, but um, just like watching the NFT thing going on. So I knew that the Ethereum wouldn't last long in the wallet. But the Bitcoin I bought with the intention of that being like a long term hold, which I've since converted to Ethereum and spent. So
Do you regret that at all, or no regrets?
no, absolutely not. No, I guess we can get off tangent a little bit, but no, I converted all the Bitcoin. Like I said, I was dollar cost averaging, and then like on dips or like when I get a paycheck or whatever, I just every once in a while buy an irresponsible amount of Bitcoin. And then when the Bored Ape Mutants came out a few months ago, I was like digging in couch cushions trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to mint a mutant, and ended up I had just enough Bitcoin that I converted over and picked one up. So
Okay, cool. So you got your ETH, you got your Bitcoin at this point, but you hadn't yet invested in NFTs. What was the first NFT you went and bought off of OpenSea?
um, it was probably a Zed horse. Um, I bought some, so I found Top Shot, but I missed the boat. I found Top Shot on like a Monday when LeBron moments were like $30. And then I spent a few days like trying to research it and figure out what the hell I was looking at. And like by Friday they were like $900. So I missed that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a crazy week. Um, but yeah, I was like telling my buddies, I was like, yeah, I found this video of LeBron James for $30, but it's like there's other ones and you can't like do anything with it. They're like, oh, so like when people watch it on YouTube, you like get something? It's like, oh, no. It's just like I didn't get it at all. And by the time I figured it out, it passed me by. So that and GameStop was just like, okay, let's figure this out. And then that led me to Twitter and like following some people from the Top Shot movement or whatever. And um, it was Jack Settleman, the same tweet. Like I think Linus yesterday was on here talking about the same tweet, and like a bunch of people. Tish the other day was talking about it. It was like the day before the March 19th Zed drop that Jack Settleman put out a tweet at like in the middle of the night of just like a screenshot of a horse race, and I was like, dude, what is this? Like, holy shit. And not even like he like cropped out the corner, like there was no indication of what it was. It was just like some diamond horses like running across the finish line. So I immediately just like hopped on the Twitter search and Google search, like figuring out what it is. And like I didn't have a MetaMask wallet, so that was like first step, like figuring out how to get a MetaMask wallet, like sending Ethereum from my Coinbase over to like this random address for the first time,
Right.
where I was like sending like a lot, like a good chunk of the money that I had in my Coinbase wallet was just like, all right, here we go. I hope it hope it makes it there. And then yeah, so then the next day was one of the Genesis drops. So I'm pretty sure, I think Chain Connection was probably my first like real NFT.
Chain Connect, was that the name of the horse?
Yeah, that's my Z7 Finny donkey.
Was that your first horse?
It was, yeah. So I that drop on March 19th, I got two horses. I got Chain Connection, who's a Z7, and I got Turn On Access, who's a Z9, and they are both just absolute donkeys.
So where'd you go after racing or buying your first two horses, racing them and figuring out their donkeys? Like, what was your next step from there? Like, how did you approach Zed, knowing that you had donkeys, but like maybe wanted to move up in caliber of horse?
Yeah, so my next step like um I immediately just like dove as deep as I could, figured it out, like um looked on YouTube, and at the time it was just like Doofy, Poseidon, Beaver Shot had a couple of videos, but it was like not really much on YouTube or like Twitch streams. There wasn't really much going on at the time. So I just like, and those guys all had just stables full of Nakamotos from a year ago, right? So it was really like not relatable to me, at least. Like I love those guys. I watch all their content, but it's like, yeah, cool, dude. But like my horse sucks. What do I do with it? So I saw that as kind of like an opportunity to where like I don't really have the money to compete with these guys, but shit, there's only two or three guys making YouTube videos, so maybe I'll do that. Um, yeah, so I made a YouTube video just like talking about how I found the game, and Chain Connection actually won like his second or third race. It was all free races. He tricked me. He tricked me into thinking he was a decent horse. But yeah, so he won like a free race right out of the gate. So I had, and um, I'm a photographer in my other normal life. So I had all these cameras and shit. So I was just like, well, hell, I'll turn on the camera and record a race and see what happens. Um, so yeah, so that I ended up taking that angle as opposed to like thinking that I could be some kind of like dominant racer, because I just don't have the budget for it. So
Okay. Well, I like that. Someone in chat says watching your videos 5 steps for a drop was super thrilling for me. So like I'm sure the anticipation of like your videos leading up to the drops was great for the community
shit.
just to watch in general.
Yeah, so I'm trying to pull up the chat here on my phone. Yeah, it was fun. Like if you go back, I haven't watched them in a long time, but like tried to make videos of all the drops, and like those were always just a nightmare. So it's fun to go back and see. Like I'm man, I wish I would have like had the foresight. I deleted a lot of the screen recordings. Like I had my screen recording going for all the drops. So like some of these just like monster horses that were just like sitting there in the drop. I shouldn't say sitting there. Nothing was really sitting there, but like if you would have just clicked one to the right, like you could have had Mula Mula or something crazy like that, you know?
Did you, while you were on there, did you see any beast horses? Like any ones that you know now are crazy? Did you pass up on them when they were unraced?
Um, it's, I'm sure there were plenty. It's hard to say like passed up on, because like the way that the drops went, like you didn't have time to like think about it. Like I was basically just looking at the dollar amount that they were listed at, just like if it's in this range, like that's either a Z8, Z9, because they wouldn't tell you how much they were going to cost either before the drop. So it's just like based on the prior drop, like I think the horse that I want is going to be like $200. So as soon as the horses pop on the screen, I'm just looking for $200, and I'm just fucking clicking as quick as I can because somebody else is going to click faster, you know? So it wasn't like, ooh, that horse has a good name, or you didn't have time for any of that.
Okay. So I came across you when you were in the digital derby and you were racing your horses named Toyota Prius. How'd you come to
Yeah.
acquire these horses? Was it a drop as well on these
Oh
ones?
man. No. So Prius, Prius was my fourth horse. Uh, so after I got the two in the drop, I bought a third Genesis on OpenSea. This was like back before any of the websites like Know Your Horses. None of that was around. It was just Remy. Uh, what was it? Zed Nucleus. Remy had Zed Nucleus. So that was like the only place where you could go, and it wasn't even like much of. I guess there were stats, but it wasn't like we didn't really know what the hell we were doing. So it would tell you the horse's stats and like what they were listed for. You could sort a little bit better than the Matic OpenSea at the time. But so I bought a Genesis horse named the Unexpected. That was just so when I looked, that was a problem back then too, was the metadata wouldn't update. So when I bought it, it had lost its Griffin race with like 15 odds or something like that. And so I was like, okay, one bad race, 15 odds, that's not a total donkey. So I bought that horse. And then by the time it showed up in my stable, it had like 5 races where it was raced out at every distance. And it was like absolutely a donkey. So that sucked. That was a bad first experience with buying secondhand. But then, so my fourth horse was Prius, and I used Zed Nucleus again and sorted. I was looking for horses that had like less than 4 or 5 races, just like hopefully somebody raced it and had bad luck and just didn't know what they were doing. So yeah, Prius. I think he had 4 or 5 races and had super good odds, like 6 or 7 odds, but was just losing. So I was still super new, but I knew of U shape. I didn't really understand it, but I was like, okay, well he has good odds and he's losing, so he was super cheap, like point 0.1 or something like that. Which I mean, I guess now it's not super cheap, but at the time. But yeah, so about Prius, and he he's not actually that good of a horse. Like, um, but at the time, last summer, in class 5, he was holding his own. Like I can put him in any field. He's like a very very shitty version of Diamonds, where it's just like he only has one distance. It's 1,200 meters, but I can put him in any field, and sometimes he'll win. He's got a pretty good U shape, but man, they rolled me out in the digital derby as like the token sacrifice to arbitrage. That was fun. Honored to be included, but like I said earlier, like my stable, I have no business being in that tournament or those races. So we threw Prius out there at his off distance, and Marajo just ran all over us. But that was fun.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see like everybody's faces, and like that was really like the first time I got to put like some faces to stables. And then it was just cool to see like they made it an event, so it was cool to see all you guys there racing your horses. Even if you didn't win, like it was still cool to watch.
Oh yeah, dude, it was amazing. Like I could show my parent. Like that was the first time I didn't really show my parents or like any of my friends, anybody, like my videos that I was making, because it's just like sitting in my office, like, what are you doing, you nerd? But finally, like with the digital derby, it was like it's finally something I can like show people, like check this out. So yeah, it was super cool. And I think the Spectra acquisition, they do a lot of that type of like virtual studio show. Like they do a lot of that type of stuff. And I know, I don't know if they want me to say this or not, but I know that they were super fucking jealous of the digital derby. So Spectra will allow them to do that, but like way cooler. So
Right. I was thinking, I was like, if Zed ever has their own tournament, you can't let a third party tournament have put out like higher quality than you. So like whatever
right,
they do, the bar is already set for them. They have to go above that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're. I think that's a big part of what they're thinking with that. But among, well, there's a lot of facets to that acquisition, but that's one of them for sure.
Right. Let me kick my dog out real quick. Being a little pest.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, so with that Spectre acquisition, I feel like they made it out to be like this game changing, and obviously the announcement kind of fell flat. But maybe we're just not really seeing the full potential of what they're thinking, like as far as like human park and all that, being able to tie in metaverse, like the entire metaverse with with all this digital stuff and virtual reality and AR, VR. If you look at what Spectra, sorry, I've just been rambling about Spectra. If you look at what they've done on their website with like virtual reality experiences and like AR, and I think, I don't know, it's all speculation, but I feel like there's got to be more to it than we're seeing.
100%. Yeah, I agree as well. I think that's such a long-term play. Like, I can understand if people are frustrated because you might not see like direct direct action from that acquisition or whatever. But I think down the road, whenever we get like Human Park and then like VR becomes more and more mainstream, I think like that's a perfect opportunity to like make a play on the VR space.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like it's their metaverse play, like how like BioPills has their Bioverse or whatever they call it, and like all the NFTs, all the game, whatever. Like everybody's just got their metaverse play. And like if you've ever listened to Chris Ebling talk, um, he's a very like he's going to the damn moon, right? So his vision is way bigger than just Zed, and like I've never spoken with the other guys personally, but like I'm sure that Human Park is like the the metaverse that Zed will just be like one little piece of, you know. So like the Zed is going to be huge, but it's going to be like huge as a part of this bigger vision, you know.
Right. We were kind of talking about that on Tuesday in the Meta Circus, and Starry Nights came on, and he like totally knocked it out of the park. Knocked it out of the park. Funny, but like saying like how the Zed token or the Park token could kind of be like the same, and they can pull some levers to in Park if people are selling off in Zed Run token, like there's ways that you could pull the levers in the park to where it could increase the value. Like what I'm thinking is what they could do. Have you played GTA? Just like straight up GTA Online?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so in GTA Online, you can go to the casino. So I think what they do with Human Park is they'll probably have like a little GTA Online, and somebody will be able to own the casino. Like you'll be able to buy land and all that stuff, but also as a player, you'll be able to go there. But now when you go to the GTA casino, you walk up to the teller and you like exchange your cash for whatever token casinos. But within that casino, they have horse racing, and then they have whatever. It could be like a Decentraland casino, but their trump card could be that they have the horse racing in their casino, and that could just be the casino within Human Park. So just
Yeah.
brainstorming, but there's a lot they
Yeah,
can do,
yeah.
right?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's and they honestly they told us already. They released that video with the Human Park where it's like going down the road, which is like the roadmap for VHS, where it passes by Zed and VHS and Human Park with the dollar. Like they told us, it's got the dollar sign. It's park, like it's the park token. It's gonna happen. So like that's it's all just part of a bigger play. And then if you look at the virtual park or Human Park, they've got like the nudes thing where it's like obviously going to be their avatars with they're on Polygon. So you look back to like Ethlings where it's like the interchangeable wearables and stuff. Like hopefully they don't rug. But yeah, it's like they've showed us what they're doing. It's just like everybody's too nuzzled in their little holes to kind of see it for the bigger picture, you know?
Right. Yeah. And it took for someone like Starry Nights to really like, he even said, let's take a 30,000 foot view from this and look at it. And like, once you really do step back and look at the large play that they could really make on just the entire metaverse, like it's a pretty big
Oh
play.
yeah. Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And they're already set up. Like they have the partnerships and stuff. Like they're so far ahead of like the just for example, like I have a couple of bio pills, so I'm not trying to like FUD or anything, but they're they have like some videos or whatever. Like they don't have an actual game. They're if you put them on like a similar level to where like think about it like Human Park is Zed's like Bioverse play, and then they already have their game, and now they're like gonna do their apostles with their little nudes or whatever. Like it's if you think about it on a similar uh, structure or whatever, similar idea, uh, it's crazy how low like the Zed Genesis floor is compared to some of that stuff. Like if you know, this is all if, and I don't know what I'm talking about. It's all speculation. But if they can pull it off, and all of a sudden we're getting a shitload of park token for all these horses that we have that are being used in the other games in the Human Park metaverse, and like they're partnered with fucking Budweiser, like dude, it's huge. It's so huge. And like what? So again, they have the Decentraland partnerships and the Sandbox partnership, and they've been talking about racetrack land since the start, like Des token racetrack, buy your own racetrack. So like, what if they just got into Decentraland and like looked around? They're like, well, fucking, this isn't gonna work. So now they're just doing it themselves, and like, shit, we should be so bullish on that. Like, with all these partnerships that they have, and now they're like buying fucking companies to make it happen. Like, dude, this is this is amazing.
100%. And their thing has always been quality, right? Like I think Starry Night said it or Bamonte said it. If you go to Decentraland, like it's not the best quality. Zed has always put an
It's
emphasis
just
on
it's
quality.
Minecraft. Like it's fine for what it is, but like it's not what Ebbs is trying to do at all. You know?
100%. So let's get into your shirt and your profile picture.
Oh dear. Okay. And my coffee mug.
And your damn, all right, you got it all. You got it all. And the Metaverse gaming laptop. So, how did you get a Bored Ape? And let's talk about your reasoning to buy one first. Like, what gave you the conviction to buy a Bored Ape?
Yeah, so I was on the Bored Ape website on the night they minted. Like I was on Twitter that night and everybody was talking about it. And so I was there, was looking in the bathroom and like a bunch of dudes just like slowly drawing a dick picture on the bathroom walls. Like, huh, it's not exactly the utility that I had imagined this all to come with, you know? But like, I mean, the pictures are cool and stuff, but like I said earlier, I'm really bad at this, like investment and trading and all this stuff. And um, recently, I don't remember which one it was, but I had just bought or minted some garbage that rugged. I think it might have been Chubbies. I don't remember the timeline, but I bought some Chubbies, bought some other. I bought all kinds of just garbage. Um, so I was like low on ETH and like didn't want to have to transfer from the Coinbase wallet and explain it to my wife. Oh, by the way, my wife was like 6 months pregnant. I forgot to mention that. When I found Zed, my wife was like super pregnant. Um, so now I'm like trying to spend hundreds of dollars on JPEGs, thousands of dollars on JPEGs, and like we got a baby coming. And so yeah, it was a weird time. But anyway, so midnight, I was like looking at the apes, and I decided against it just for financial reasons, whatever. I thought I was being responsible. And I even woke up the next morning. I was like, dude, talking to my wife, it's like, babe, I didn't like everybody was buying these monkey pictures last night. And like, I had the restraint, like I didn't buy one. I was like thinking she'd be proud of me. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't care. Um, so anyway, and then a few weeks went by and like everybody had apes like is that March, April? I don't know, whenever they came out. April, I think, May, whatever. Just like everybody on Twitter had apes because the floor was still like point 0.1, point 0.2. So it was like not that not that hard to get them. People were just flipping them, buying, selling. Like I personally have never sold an ape. So I know it's easy to think that with the ape profile picture, like, oh shit, this guy's rich as fuck. But like I've never sold one. So, it's all speculation at this point. But yeah, so everybody had an ape, like they were just flipping them all over the place. And it was like hundreds of dollars, right? So it's still like a lot of money for me. And I was just looking at it and it was still like, what are we doing? Like you're hanging out in the bathroom still, like, okay, we've moved on from dick pictures. It's like we're doing other things, but it's like, what are we doing here? And it was actually Josh Ong, who's the man. We all owe that guy a beer. Josh Ong did the Bored Ape Jockey Club for Zed, where it was you could only participate if you had an ape and you had a horse. And he did, I think it was the first Zed Run tournament where you needed an ape. And I was like, well, God damn it. All right, I guess I got to buy an ape. So the floor was point 0.3 at the time. And I almost bought one on the floor that was like, had one of the like leather helmets. And I decided to go up a little bit and I paid 0.6 for my guy with the 3D glasses, which turns out it's the best fucking money I've ever spent in my life. And then, yeah, so then played in the Jockey Club tournament. I'm sure I did terrible. I don't remember. But then ended up a couple months later after my son was born, the floor was like I think, two Ethereum. And I bought a second one, which was like $7,000 or something like that at the time, with like a 1 month old or like a few week old baby. As like literally in the middle of the night, I'm on my computer with my baby, like DM and Pranksy on Discord, like hooking up this ape sale where I'm spending just a irresponsible amount of money. But yeah, so it worked out though.
That's pretty damn cool. And it's funny that it took Zed Run to get you to invest in the ape. Like it had to be tied to Zed Run for the ape to work out. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's ironic because like the opportunity cost of Zed Run over the last year, if we're talking about just like strictly making money in NFTs, like shit, there were so many better opportunities. But yeah, it got me started. Like Zed was my first NFT, so yeah, it got me started in all this crazy shit.
Right. But like you said, like you could have made a lot more money investing in the profile pictures, but like at an entry point, like with anybody, I can see why someone always picks the Zed Run horse over the profile picture just because of the utility. It makes sense later down the line, like like, oh, if I would have went with the profile picture, I would have made a lot more. But at the beginning, it makes a lot of sense just because you have the breeding, the stud barn, you got the secondary sales, the racing. Like, there's so much more utility. It's easy to justify Zed, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you gotta be a real degenerate to like be buying and selling like these weird profile pictures. And like the market moves so fast too. It's like I with my kids, like I don't have time. There's been a lot of times, like even just the other day, where I'll like mint something and then the market goes up to like zero point 0.6, but I'm like watching from my phone as I'm putting the baby down for a nap. And then by the time I get back to my computer, the market's back down to like zero point 0.2. I
Mm.
missed it. So it's like it's hard, like time in these markets and like figuring out all this trading is crazy. So yeah, so I don't sell anything anymore. But yeah, it's easy. Back to the point, as Zed being the entry point is, yeah, obviously the utility and being able to jump in a race, watch the replay of the race. Like it's super fun. This game's so fun.
Did you see the board apes turning into what? Like, did you see it getting this crazy when you went and bought your second one? Because you have to have conviction to go and spend like 7,000 on a second one. But did you ever see Jimmy Fallon, Post Malone, Lil Baby, all these guys joining in?
No, well, I mean, no, definitely not. Like it's insane. Like the level the level that it's at now, it's like just stupid. But I mean, obviously, I there was something I saw something at that point to make such a big move and buy another one. And then like when the mutants came out, I spent that was like $10,000. Like um, so yeah, but obviously by the time the mutants came out, it was obvious. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was just like the community and like the ape follow ape. Like I've got like 7,000 Twitter followers or whatever, like solely because of that ape. Like I'm not smart. Like I don't put out good data or anything. Like it's just because I have the ape. So which then as like at the time, like there were cool collaborations and stuff going on. Like all the people on Twitter, like I could connect with people that I just had no business connecting with, of just like cool tech people. And now it's like I don't take advantage of it because I don't really have much to offer and I'm busy with my kids and shit. But like the collaborations and like the ape stuff that's going on now is just like it's insane. It's like just this wild like online country club that it's yeah, it's all surreal.
What is the real? Because like I know that you guys have like they've had like real actual yacht parties. Like, what are some of the real world utilities that the board apes have, and have you attended any of them or got invited to any of them?
No, I didn't. So the yacht party was on Halloween, and I've got young kids, so I can't duck out on Halloween. Unfortunately, it was like the same weekend as NFT NYC and all that stuff. So I missed out on that. They had a get together, keep meet up or whatever they call it, down in Southern California last year. That again, like my wife was like about to have a baby, so I couldn't justify that. Um, I don't know. It's like hard to put into words like the real world utility. Like I got to buy this T-shirt. Like I don't know. It's not super utilitarian, um, but just like the if I wanted to, which I haven't done. I could be doing a way better job of like monetizing my ape. I haven't really done much with it at all. But just the opportunities that are there, if you were to go full steam and like use the ape as your brand or whatever, it's just there's a lot of people doing a lot of cool stuff.
Do you have any like no plans to do that in the future? But like, could you sell shares of that ape potentially? I've seen things like that to where you can own like a piece of an ape.
But I mean, I don't ever plan to sell, so I'm hoping I'm hoping that something like that comes along where I can use it for like I've listened to like the Proof podcast that Kevin Rosa does, some other stuff where people are talking about like when you like rich people, I don't I don't understand how their lives work, but apparently when you hold these like crazy art assets and shit, like you just keep them forever, and then you take out loans or you whatever. You just money. It's capitalism, man. Money makes more money, you
You
know.
borrow
So
against them.
yeah, like it's just you get rich and you just stay rich, which I'm not there yet because I've never sold an ape, but uh, you know, I'm hoping to.
At what price like are does the wheels get spinning of like, okay, I might accept that. If someone drops X amount of offer in your inbox, what number would it have to be?
There's not a number right now. Um, just like the FOMO of like we're they released that roadmap and we're like on the first little corner of this like windy ass river of the roadmap that they released. So definitely not getting off this boat anytime soon. Uh, somebody, I think it was a scammer. I'm pretty sure he was just trying to steal my apes, but somebody DM'd me the other day and offered me two crypto punks, um, which is not into that, but um, it's crazy to think like like looking back at like the crypto punks and like I saw a tweet the other day that like fidenzas are now like bored apes are more expensive than the fidenza, which is just like it's all fucking crazy, man. Um, but I had my second one listed last I don't know sometime last year. I had a talk with my wife when things were getting crazy. It was like when Steph Curry bought his, I think, or maybe it was before that. But I had the second one listed for 50 Ethereum for a little while because it was like, so I think the floor was like 30. I was like, all right, well, fuck it. If it sells for 50, I'll list it for like a week, and that'd be just wild. But luckily, it didn't sell.
So let's say you get that sell. What's your play after that? Like, what's your next NFT play like after that? Is it going for Genesis Z? Is it going for actual racehorse or just holding your liquidity?
I probably just would have bought a bunch of horses, which would have been a terrible choice at the time, with how the market's been. So yeah, it's definitely a blessing that it didn't sell because I probably just would have bought a bunch of dumb shit.
So you were talking about the Bored Ape roadmap and how you guys are like at the first corner. Let's talk about the Zed Run roadmap and just like what you thought about the roadmap and what you're most excited for coming into this year.
Yeah, so I think the roadmap was it was cool. Like obviously it wasn't like anything we weren't expecting because like we all spend so much damn time with this game, like we've thought of everything. So there's nothing they could put on that roadmap that'd be like an original thought because we're here too much. But no, I thought it was really good. Like the elo system, which, and again, I'm not smart enough to know like how any of this is going to work, but um, everybody knows like the class system needs some sort of fix, and they're working on it. Uh, the token, like we talked about it, like I think it's going to be the park token. Um, however they decide to do that like that's literally been on their white paper since like day one. So obviously they're putting the time in, hopefully, to talk to the right people and do that right. Um, and yeah, like what else is on the roadmap? Park token, the more tournaments
Seasons.
and stuff. Yeah, seasons like party mode. Um, yeah, it's great. It's all great. Like, and especially as someone with a stable full of buterins for the most part, um, I can't even really race anymore. Like I've got a few horses that I'm doing free races trying to qualify for tournaments, but like realistically, if I can qualify some of these horses, like they're going to get just run over in the first round of qualifying most likely, and then they're classed up to oblivion. So it's like um, as fun as Zed Run is, it's not super fun for smaller stables right now. Like it's a fun game, but we're just getting our asses handed to us over and over again. So, and I shouldn't say us. I'm not a small stable. I'm a big shitty stable.
How can you make it fun for those guys? What would you like to see to where the smaller stables still have a shot to make some money?
I think custom races, like if I could go on there every day and just be like, hey guys, here's a legendary Buterins only race. Like, let's go. And I don't know if there'll be any money involved with those custom races, but like, that's it. Like just some divide us up a little more so that like the donkeys don't have to run into, especially with downclassing, like the class five paid races are just like obscene. Like if you use stack nax or whatever, it's just like all red. It's crazy. And that's $2. Like the cheap entry, uh, class five 2400 is just a disaster every time, which I have horses that used to be competitive in those. And like, I don't even enter them anymore. So, um, yeah, I think just some sort of just extra options, more races. I don't know. I don't know what exactly the answer is, but
Right. I like that. So you said that you have like mostly butyrins and that you can't really race right now. So if you can't race, have you found that you can't like breed a good horse with your butyrin so far?
no, I mean, I've bred a ton of horses. Like I've never, I've sold one horse, I think. And it wasn't one that I bred. Like I bought one and it sucked. So I just put it right back on the market and sold it. Um, so I've just been like accumulating horses. So I'm up to like 150 or 130 horses, something like that. I've got like 30, I think 30 Genesis,
Damn.
and then which most of those came. Well, I shouldn't say most. I got a bunch from the drops. Like I was really lucky in drops for whatever reason. Like I was just clicking my ass off. So every drop, there were like 4 or 5 drops that I got to try, and I got a couple of horses in every one. So, and I've never sold anything. So I've just been like slowly accumulating Genesis butyrins. I've got 3 Finnies that all came from drops. I got the male chain connection and 2 females. Um, so yeah, for the last like 9 months, basically, I've just been breeding the hell out of all these horses, seeing what works. And out of the 100 that I've bred, there's maybe like a dozen that are pretty decent, like no monsters, but like um, a couple of Finnies lately that, which is weird. Like I bred these same Finnies together over and over again. And like, I don't know if I don't want to start in conspiracies or whatever, but like these pairs were making donkeys. And then all of a sudden, like 2 or 3 sets in a row, they're just like, oh shit, these are good horses. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but there's a chance like, and with the way that breeding works, how it's like sort of random or whatever, um, anything can happen. That's why I keep breeding them. Like I'm still breeding. Like I'm gonna breed a shitload of horses for the maiden. Like I still try because it's fun as hell, but like I have realistic expectations that uh, I'm not expecting to like go very far
Do you just race
in
them
the
in freeze?
in the
Like
current state at least.
when you breed, do you go straight to freeze or do you test them in paids to really figure out what you got?
Um, so it's kind of changed. So in the past, I would breed just like all the time. Whenever the breed reset would happen, I would just make more horses, and I would probably use a couple frees and then try and figure out where they flame or where the odds were, and then pound that distance in paid to see if they hold the flame. But now the way that like the game works and tournaments and everything, like uh, there's no point to race paid races anymore if you're trying to qualify for a tournament, especially if you have a high Z butyrin. Like you're just, I did that the first, I think the first Fibonacci Cup. I was like trying to pepper in some paid races. I even threw in a couple of down class races trying to qualify. And I got to like 30 races and I was like, oh man, I'm not even close. Shit. And now I'm classed up to class 2 or whatever. Like,
Mm.
oops. So yeah, if you're trying to qualify like paid races or no, like what are you doing? So and like I said before, like my horses that used to be competitive and paid, they just aren't anymore. So yeah, I don't really do any paid races.
I'm with you. I only go free as well. The Buddha wanted me to ask you about your recent 5 win streak that you recently posted about on Twitter.
Hey, I got to flex whenever I can. It doesn't happen often. But yeah, no, that was one of my Finnies that I was talking about that like came out good. Like the Bomber is that horse, and then another one named Finny Cooper that came out the same day. Like my 2 females with my 1 male. After like 5 or 6 breed cycles of just pure donkeys, I breed these 2 that are both like the exact same horse, same distance preference, and they're both monsters. So, well, I shouldn't say monsters. They're competitive in class 3, which is a monster for me. Um, but yeah, so they have good down buttons too. So I tanked the hell out of them leading up to the Fib Cup. So they started out a little bit lower than they should have been. So yeah, Bomber was just destroying some weaker competition.
Okay, cool. And then you were able to get the. Someone says, "I can't believe you were able to get the name Finney Cooper."
Ha, right? That's a good one. I was like waiting for a female Finny. Like I had at the previous breed cycle that I wanted to use that name, but I bred two males, and I was like, God damn it, I gotta wait another month. Hope nobody uses that name. But yeah, that was like, man, I have so many wasted names. Like when breeding first opened back up, like I had a list. Like my buddy and I had this like Google Doc that we had a bunch of names on that we were just picking off some just golden names left and right. And they all turned out to be just terrible donkeys, which sucks.
Mm.
But I got a bunch of good like 3-letter names. I was trying to think of it as like from like a domain name standpoint. So I was trying to get all the like 3-letter common names and stuff.
Okay, got you. And then is this your buddy that helps you with the Chateau Jockey Club?
Yeah, yeah. So my guy Joey nicknames, friend of mine in real life, that I I told all my friends about Zed. We actually for our fantasy football draft last year used a Zed race to like determine our draft order or whatever. And I like told everybody about it, like, and just Joe was the only one that gave a shit. So yeah, he's got some horses, and we work together on the jockey club, which we both have kids, and like I would love to spend more time and do more tournaments and stuff with that, which I will in the future. But yeah, it's there's just so much going on. It's hard to keep up with everything.
So, what is the Chateau Jockey Club?
It's I think our spiel on our Twitter is like a social society of for horse. I don't know. It's just a little group that I made. I wanted to do, or I'm still planning on doing more tournaments. Um, just like host tournaments. We did one last year with like a fantasy draft where we had some captains come on and pick horses on their team, and it was like a team tournament, which seemed to go over pretty well. I think everybody had a good time, so we'll try that again at some point. Um, but it's just been like I don't know, man. I got kids and stuff like, and all this shit moves so fast that like Zed keeps changing there. We had a bunch of ideas for tournaments that like stuff just changes so often. They were like, if we're gonna try and plan this like a month out and promote it, and like then they're gonna rug us on something. So we're taking a very long term approach. So not in any rush to do
Right.
anything.
Gotcha. And things do move so fast. It's like if you just with anything in the space, like if you drop a piece of content, it can become old within a week. But what you're doing right now, I've noticed like you're dropping like the beginners content, which really doesn't die. Like it because there's always a new audience, a wave of people coming in. So can you talk about like the type of content you're making right now?
Yeah, man. So I Zed rugged me one too many times on my videos because like it was almost funny like, and I don't mean this to talk shit at all. Like they've hooked me up so many times. Like I love those guys, but it was almost like they would like watch my uploads and then be like, oh, he just did a video about this. All right, let's fucking change that. Because like every time I would upload a video, I was uploading some long videos. They're like 30 minutes long. Took me multiple days to edit them and like put it out, and it would get a handful of views. And then like, all right, here comes that announcements channel. They just changed all that. Like, so that happened. It seemed like every video that happened. So finally, I was just like, ugh, I need to keep it short. And I don't know like the data crunching and like can't do any of that stuff. And like you guys do all this live stuff that's super good. So just like trying to find going back to like when I first got started, just like where's the hole, what's needed. So trying to do beginner content that's just like super short because out of fear that Zed's going to change it. Like the other day, Tuesday,
Uh,
was it Tuesday? I just went live to talk about the class system and stuff because like Elo's coming, uh, and I don't want to like produce like 4 videos about the class system and then just like they're worthless the next day. And literally like I think it was like 5 minutes after I was done live, Zed put out that tweet about the Elo system, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, dude. But luckily it was just like talking about it. They didn't actually roll it out. But like, yeah. So I'm trying to keep it short just because like the amount of time that I have spent on videos that no one's ever seen is like silly. So
I thought you were gonna say that when you drop, like, I thought you released maybe like an email video, and then the next day is when they get rid of the email logins or something like that. Like, man,
right.
that'd be
Yeah. No,
rough.
I mean, I have one. I have a video that has the different interface, and I saw that I was like, ugh, that's not enough to change. I'm not worried about it. I'm just gonna leave it.
That's funny, man. So if you had to restart it all today, you knew about the game, but you only had half an ETH to start your stable. What would you get and why?
Yeah. So, man, this question has changed a lot in the past like week or two because the Genesis floor is just like on fire. So I haven't looked today, but like somebody swept up like 40 something horses off the Genesis floor yesterday.
Damn.
And it went up to like 0.23, 0.24, something like that for a donkey Genesis male. Um, so yeah, like usually I would say if you're getting started, it depends. Like if you have the time, if you're trying to just like grind out races, um, you can get racers for like 0.04, 0.05. Like you can search on Hockey You Know Your Horses, like a horse that's got like 30 races in its belt and getting flames and getting like 10% win rate or whatever. Um, you can find those horses for dirt cheap right now. So if you're just trying to breed, or I mean, if you're just trying to race, um, probably just like go scoop up some cheap racers because the market's kind of overlooking them right now. Um, and then if you're trying to breed, it's tough with because like the discount for in-house breeding. Another reason why I've bred 100 horses is because I have both Genesis male and female, and I'm doing cross stable breeding. So it's like 65 or 55% discount or whatever. Like it's a huge discount when you have both horses and you know the workaround for cross stable breeding. Um, so like it'd be hard for me to recommend somebody with like if you're going to go buy horses on a point 0.5 budget and then go randomly pick from the stud farm, and you're paying like 70, $80 to make, I don't know. It's just tough to recommend that route. So I feel like if you're trying to breed, I would probably get one or two female bred racers, like exclusive legendary, that like are performing, maybe have good lineage, and then try and get a Genesis male of your own for like 0.3 or whatever, like right above the floor. Um, and then that would leave you with about 0.1 to race and breed. And hopefully those female racers will be at least break even. So you're not like burning money racing, but that's tough. I mean, that's part of the reason why I am making that video series too, is because it's like, there's so many different ways to do it. And there's so many horses and like, you look at the market and if you don't know the game inside and out, like you're just like trying to spend 0.05 and you're looking at like hundreds of horses. Like, what in the hell am I even looking at? So, um, I mean, it's so, it varies, man. It's, who knows,
So if
so
you
many,
if
so
you
many right answers.
if you were gonna go on Haku and try and drill down and find these exclusive racers, how many races or how many paid races, what win percentage, and what flame percentage do you type in to find these horses for that price?
Um, so I'll speculate here because I breed everything. Like I don't really buy, uh, I buy Genesis horses off the floor mostly. But I don't really buy bred horses at all. Because I don't really have the time to be like grinding out races. So if I were to like pay up for like a proven racer, I'm just not, it's not going to be worth it for me personally. Um, Unless it's a Genesis. I bought a couple of those, but those even I probably shouldn't have bought. Anyway, um, uh, what was the question? Shit.
What properties, like how much
Oh yeah, yeah, the
number of
hockey
races,
search. That's
flames,
right.
or yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so if you're looking for a horse, I would say like 20 to 30 paid races just to like make sure. Oh, it depends. Like it depends on if you're feeling lucky or not. Like you could search for a horse that only has like 4 races, and maybe it got a flame, but the owner didn't realize, like didn't even like look at the flames or whatever, like back in the day you could get a horse like when I bought Prius, like had good odds, but you had to go to like a second website. Like the odds weren't prevalent. Like you had to know to look for them. So there's potential to find like a mislisted horse or whatever, like somebody doesn't know what they have. If you search for something with only a handful of races and you can kind of see the potential. Um, but the problem there is if that horse has been listed for longer than like 25 minutes, fucking arbitrage has already looked at it and decided it's not worth it. So um, it's you got to be quick if you think you're going to find some diamonds in the rough. Like if you see a horse that's been listed for like 3 weeks, like people have had enough time to figure out that there's nothing there. Like I don't know, probably. But so yeah, I would suggest probably looking for a horse that's 20 or 30 paid races, and then getting flame percentage of like, I don't know, 30 or 40%. But mainly you just want to look at the like drop off. If you're looking for like a distance preference, like can they down class? Are they getting the back end results on the short end or whatever? Like just figuring out the profiles and all. But yeah, I would just make sure to get a good sample size so you don't get duped.
Okay. So if you breed in house, so let's say you breed a horse, and 2 days later, it's not a burner account and it's arbitrage, and he's offering on your horse. Would you sell it? It's still like maybe like you're only 10 races in, and let's say you bred this horse for less than what? If it's a Buterin, you probably bred it for less than point 0.1. Would you sell your horse to arbitrage or any of these big racers early on, or would you take the journey and figure out the horse for yourself?
Man, I've got a monkey picture that's almost worth as much as my house that I'm not selling. So no way. Like no way. I mean, that'd be awesome. Like, cause I don't have, I've never even like gotten an offer. Like my best horse, I think Finney Cooper is probably my best horse, like performance wise. And like, I've never even like gotten an offer on it from anyone. So it's like, that would, if I just had a horse that was like warranting of any kind of attention, I think I would be like, oh shit, I can finally like participate in these big boy races. Like, no way I'm selling, you know?
You wouldn't trade your ape for. Okay, well, let me ask you this. What horse would you be willing to trade your ape for? Like if I had Princess of Power and I was going to offer you Princess of Power for your ape, you wouldn't take it?
No.
Savage.
I will, but I'm not a racer though. Like I don't have the time to grind Princess of Power. Like best horse in the game. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but like I don't have the time to race that horse the way it needs to be raced, And like I don't think that Zed, like as bullish as I am on the whole like human park thing, I don't think owning Princess of Power is gonna like get you all this extra stuff down the road. Like it'll get you some park token or whatever, but like I don't think I don't know. I could be wrong. Like we start doing $1 million races, and like I could absolutely be wrong. Um, but yeah, not at this point. I all the way up, like when the floor, like the Bored Ape floor and the Z1 floor were like even. I was like, shit, man, like I could sell this and get a Z1. Like this is it. Like Zed, like fucking Z1. Like I never thought that would be possible. And I just like watched it go by, and I just don't. I'm too afraid. Honestly, I think part of it is I'm just like too afraid to do anything with the ape. Because like people when they try and sell it and they click the wrong link and it's fucking gone or whatever, like that stuff scares the shit out of me. So I've got it on a ledger like cold storage wallet that I'm just like never gonna touch again, basically. So
I'm with you on that, man. It's like just even leaving something in your OpenSea, like I don't touch diamonds. Like I'm never even gonna list them because I don't want to accidentally fat finger anything. Like nothing like that. I have
yeah.
like, I'll ask you this: what keeps you up at night? Is it like someone is gonna get into your OpenSea, someone's gonna get into your ledger? Like what is like something that keeps you up at night?
Man, something that keeps me up at night is that I have an NFT listed that the floor passes me by in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping and I can never get back in. Because that's happened to me a few times where I like mint something and just list it at like an ETH because it's like, oh shit, that'd be wild. Like, okay. And then I forget that it's listed and you wake up to that email like, hey, you sold this. And then I look and the floor is at like 4 ETH. It's like, oh, crap. Um, yeah, that was my cool cat story.
Ooh,
I minted some cool cats and I sold them 2 days after I minted them. Like woke up to that email that they both sold in the middle of the night. I was like, I don't even need to look. Like I know I made a mistake. Shit.
that's funny, man. So if you had unlimited budget, you could buy one horse on the game. There, the owner was willing to sell it. What horse would you buy and why?
So I'm looking at this from like a collector's standpoint, I think. And I'd need to do some more research because I know there's like horse zero is like thin frivolity or whatever, however you pronounce it. But then like horse one is Chase Jackson. So I don't know the story of why there's a horse zero and like why didn't they start with one? Um, but it would probably be the first one, whether it's I assume it thin frivolity, the horse zero is one or the first one. So probably that one, just because it's like collectible status.
Right. You don't really have to worry about how it performs or how it races. Like that's just pure
Yeah,
collectible, right?
I don't think it's ever been raced. And I'm not sure if it's been bred or not, but yeah, like I know Chase Jackson's got some kids out there. But yeah, I don't think horse zero's ever been touched. Could be wrong.
That's interesting. That's a good play. I never thought about that. But yeah, if you're just buying into something and you didn't really care about like racing or breeding, like that's just something to own just for historic value, right? Right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a huge flex. Like if Zed can pull it off and become what they are trying to, like you have horse zero, like the very first Z1 that's like untouched. That's yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
All right. Well, my last question for you: if you could change one thing in Zed, bring back odds, take away fatigue, take away whatever you want, change whatever you want, add more classes. What are you changing and why?
It's got to be custom races. It's got to be. And well, but the race entry in general is terrible. Um, the amount of time, like I said, I don't have time to race because the amount of time that I just sit and stare at that stupid screen, waiting for the right distance to come up, and then like analyzing the field, which I should just not be a pussy and just put my horse in a race. Um, but yeah, like the amount of time that I spend staring at that screen compared to the number of races that I actually put my horses in is crazy. So like the race entry process, which they could do it. Like I don't know if you've paid attention to the free races in class 3 and class 2 in like the last 24, 48 hours. Oh man, they've been beautiful. Like I've just been sitting there staring at the screen. I don't know if it's just because the free races are off chain or whatever. Like I don't understand all that, but like it's possible, guys. It's possible. So like the future when like race entry is easier, custom races, being able to just like make like a Z17 to Z19, like only Buterin or whatever, like certain win rates, just to being able to make whatever the hell you want and just post it on Twitter and hope 11 people get in. Like that's going to be, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Chateau, you got any questions for me, man?
Man, what's your next Zed move? I know you bought that Finny Genesis, and now you're just breeding out. Like, what you got any big plans on the horizon? You doing any evergreen hands or any of these big partnerships?
I don't think any evergreen hands. I might cook up something secret here in the future. We'll see. We'll see what I can cook up. No partnerships or anything like that yet. On the side of breeding or just building out a stable, I think my play is I'm gonna try and just boost the value of diamonds as much as I can, and I guess I have to do that by he's already a racer, so I gotta show that he can breed a good horse. So my play right now is just to breed the Z4 exclusives, try and get a filly, and then I plug those back into that Z6 Finny Genesis I got to hold them at exclusive, and then from there I'll have like Z10 Finny exclusives, and then I can if it's a filly, I can just keep going breeding those with Z1, Z1, Z1. So
Yeah, it's huge.
Eventually down the line, you just have the craziest exclusive bloodline with diamonds, concentrate, always wrap, and then just all the Z1s I go and breed into. So
Yeah, yeah, those low teen finnies are doing really well on the track. So that seems like a really good strategy.
yeah, man. So what's your play for the future of content creation? Are you still doing beginner videos, or what's your
Yeah,
play?
I'm gonna keep going with the beginner content. I'm like I said, like I'm not in any rush, and they're like I've kind of hit a wall where they're gonna change a bunch of the stuff that I want to make videos about right now. So I'm like trying to figure out what I can. Uh, I'm working on some videos like the Know Your Horses extension and stack knacks and stuff, like explaining those. Um, and then I'm gonna start doing I think I'm gonna start streaming on Tuesdays, like midday, because that's the only time that my house is empty. Uh, so I'm gonna try and do like a beginner like Q&A onboarding, just like basic stream on Tuesdays. I think coming up pretty soon. Um, and then I've been like I'm gonna start streaming other games too, just because like there's so much cool shit going on. But
100%. Yeah, we got the Red Village, we got Riot Racers. People are getting into this Footium stuff. Like, but I
yeah,
respect what you do a lot more than just me with this streaming. Because for me, all I really got to do is turn on, click a button. I know how hard it is, especially I don't have editing skills on the level that you do. Like, you have the cuts, you got like the overlays, the edits. Like, hats off to you, man. Because I know how long, like, the actual edited videos with actually editing the video, then making the thumbnail, then posting about it, like that takes a lot more time than live streaming. So hats off to you, man, for making great content.
thanks, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I'm all self-taught with the video editing too. So it's like I do everything wrong. It takes me all forever. I'll like click a button and Premiere locks up, and I'm just like, what the all right, I guess I gotta just go back a ways. So yeah, it's a it's a slog. I wish that I'm super jealous of you guys that just stream. Like, man, that's the way to do it. You're onto something here.
Right. Yours are quality though. Like you've got it down with your editing. Like if you say you don't know how to edit, like man, you're pretty damn well self-taught. Cause
Well,
I
I mean, it just takes me like 10 times longer than it should.
yeah,
Like, I feel like there's got to be better ways to do all this stuff.
right.
But
It's just you got all the little like extra shit that you add in your videos to where I look at that, I'm like, there's no way I could sit here and take all the time to do that. So
well,
good
thank
job,
you.
man.
Appreciate it.
Where can people follow you at, and where can people watch your content at?
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at Zed Chateau and also at Chateau Gaming. I started a second account because I didn't want to FUD Zed. Like, I figured if I switched my Zed Chateau over to Chateau Gaming, everybody'd be like, oh shit, like he's quitting. So I started a second account just so people wouldn't be stupid. So you can follow either of those. And on Twitch, I'm Chateau Gaming. On YouTube, it's Zed Chateau because I couldn't figure out how to. YouTube's complicated. I couldn't figure out how to change the name over there, so I just left it. Uh, and then Instagram and Snapchat. Snapchat? Oh, what are we using these days? It's not Snapchat. TikTok. That's what the kids
TikTok.
are using.
There you go.
But I don't ever like. I have accounts there. I don't ever post because the stuff takes too long.
We're not gonna see you hitting any dances or anything soon.
No, absolutely
Ah,
not. No, I'd like to do like I want to put the beginner content over there. It's just like editing it for the vertical. Like
mm,
it's all time, and it's tough, man. This stuff all takes way too much time.
yeah, especially when you branch out into other platforms because they all got different
Yeah, it's
ways.
crazy.
Like there is like you can take one video from YouTube and chop it up, but it's just so time consuming to do that. After a while, it
Right.
kind of becomes like just like a well-oiled machine, right? Like you know how to do it, so it's just kind of like your process, but still,
Yeah,
it's
for
a
sure.
bitch to get down.
Yeah, no, it's worth it though. Like if you can figure out the system and like get all that shit out of there, get all that shit out there on all the different platforms. Like there's people there that want to see it. So
100%. And since what we're doing is so niche, like people are curious. Like as long as you can get them curious and get them to watch your video, like you got them hooked, and then whatever like your line and sinker is to reel them in. Either that's like a big race win or breeding a horse, or like when you won your race at like super late at night or something like that on your YouTube video, like shit like
oh
that
yeah,
is
yeah,
what
my
people like to
Prius.
see.
Yeah, that was Prius's first win. Luckily, I had the camera running when that happened. That was cool.
I showed my mom that video.
Nice. I don't think I showed my mom that video. It's weird. All this stuff's so weird. Like it's so hard to tell the real life people about this crazy shit that we're doing. Like, yeah, it's all surreal.
Yeah. And until you're just like, yeah, you see this offer, this guy offered me 500,000 or 50,000 for a monkey, and that's disrespectful. I'm not accepting that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I have an email filter set up to just like anytime an offer comes in from OpenSea for anything, it just gets marked as red just
Mm.
because like with all the horse offers and stuff, like I don't need blowing up all the time. So like I don't even see the offers. So I'll just go in there. Like the other day, I didn't realize the freaking BYO land was so valuable. Like somebody offered an obscene amount of money for that thing. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like shit, I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's wild.
Yeah, it's an awesome space to be in, man. Like I feel like a kid again, just because there's always something to look forward to. Time flies by so fast, and it's like it's just an awesome time to be alive, man.
Hell yeah, it is. Oh, so good. So good.
It's great. Well, Chateau, it was nice having you on, man. You're more than welcome back anytime you want, and it was great.
Yeah,
It
man.
was great meeting you, my dog.
Likewise, you're good talking to you, and yeah, I'd love to come back anytime.
Anytime, man. Have a good day.
Nice. Awesome.